It looks like we are live. We're gonna move these flowers.
Oh, wait, do you want them right in front of us?
No, but you can move them. All right, you guys. And we're gonna be totally transparent. We're gonna have a lot of fun today, but technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
the cameras weren't working.
Right.
We had Brittany and Brian running around trying to get all the cameras to work, and we're filming on our laptop.
Yeah.
So so we can see ourselves, which is kind of nice. So we're gonna have to if we have little details, we're just gonna have to get up close.
And push it
yeah, or if you want us to push the camera forward, but we're gonna use the whole workspace here.
Yeah.
So happy May! We are excited. These lilacs are absolutely gorgeous, and again, with full transparency, Megan made these. And I have been busy filming. Brittany and I have been busy filming. Let me show you. Okay, here they are. We've been busy filming all 5 of these kits. So we had to do like the whole tutorial on each of these kits, and that was a lot of crepe paper flower making for one person. I could have asked, well, Megan did help me with the poppies, but so I've been really busy. And then I went to Hawaii last week because I was invited to go see the new Silhouette Cameo 4, which I am so excited to tell everybody. It has a rotary blade and a knife blade, so it will cut crepe paper. And as soon as we get one in our hands, they're releasing it in August, September. We are going to do a series of videos to show you guys how to use that with crepe paper. So we're really excited
to learn.
Yeah. So this flower, Megan's going to teach me, as well as you guys, how to make it. And then after we're finished, we're going to talk about these new colorants that we were introduced to a few weeks ago. And I know Susan's there, so she knows exactly what we're talking about. Hi, Susan. Anna, do you want to introduce anyone or call out any questions? Anna's over here waiting for your questions, so please ask.
Please ask your questions. Yes, I'm so excited. We have so many new members that are joining us for the first time.
Yay. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is actually becoming our highlight, and that is why you're noticing we're getting photos and projects up earlier.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, ooh, what am I going to do this month? So we're having a lot of fun. All right. If you have questions, make sure you put all caps for, Q or something to alert Anna, because there's a lot of comments that come through. So she'll need to be able to catch the questions. So make sure it's a capital Q or ask your question in capitals. Does that work for you, Anna?
That works great. We actually have one question to start off with. Yeah. Will heavyweight white crepe paper...
I know what you're saying. Will heavyweight white crepe paper work for these flowers?
No, baby, I'm in singles. I'm waiting to make wedding flowers, and your paper is the best.
Oh, yay, we love you too. Yes, we are actually about ready to place an order from Germany, and it will be coming over on a boat.
Yeah, so I would say about 16 weeks, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But, yeah, so hopefully you're getting married next year, right? So I thought you were going to ask if we could use heavyweight crepe paper on these flowers, which I think you could. You just have you could stretch them out, out the crepe paper to make it thin. So any other question? Nope. Okay, let's get going, you guys. So everybody got their list, right?
Everyone should have their list and their template.
Yay! You can't see this.
Yep.
There's a lot of little parts and a lot of leaves.
Yes, there are. If you have a cutting machine, this is the perfect project to use your cutting machine for.
Because it's a lot of tiny flowers. Okay, I'm excited to learn how to make this.
Yeah, so we're going to start out with all of our petals. So you're going to cut out all your petals. We've already pre-cut all of ours on the Cricut Maker.
And make sure you cut them so the grain goes up and down. That's really important.
Yeah. So. And then you're going to have your little center bits. And I'm going to show you guys how to cut those out all in one go so that you're not just sitting there cutting a bunch of little tiny ones.
I love techniques that speed things up.
So if you use your template to cut the center bit just so it's the right width, I'm just going to eyeball it because I made so many of these last week.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what you guys do because we're pretty busy in the studio and we have a lot of different projects that we need to finish. But if any of you could make a whole like huge bouquet of these. I will be so impressed. I'll move them over here just so they can see your hands better since you're the one demoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your, let's see.
So basically, I mean, she just did it by eyeball, but you could also just cut out your little piece like this and then just use it as the width.
Yep. So you're gonna cut a strip, and you're gonna fold that strip in half. It's indicated on your
I'm
templates.
gonna do this with you.
Yeah.
I can't just sit here.
Here you go.
Okay.
We actually already have some questions on the template. First question is, where can I get the list and templates?
Yes, Anna. That's a question you can answer.
And templates.
Yes. Okay. And next question is, the SVG template is different from the PDF. The rectangle piece is not included.
Right.
So the rectangle piece should be included on the SVG in our post for today. There were a couple mistakes on the one that got sent out via email because we did it so quickly to get it to you guys sooner. And so if you guys go to the post that was posted this morning, everything should be updated and correct.
So that's where you can get your everything. Just go to the post and you can download everything right there. Of course, you know, you'll need to be a member. That's why this is member make.
Yeah. For the SVG file, the center bit is just the rectangle shape. So it's not gonna have the fringed
We
bits
just
or
found
anything.
it doesn't work well to cut little teeny tiny slits like that on the cutting machine. It just doesn't work well. If you guys figure out a better method, awesome, share. But in the meantime, we just have to cut it by hand.
So once you fold your bit in half, you're gonna take your detail scissors.
I'm really sad. We only have one pair sitting here.
And you're just gonna fringe it. You're gonna fringe the folded edge about 3/4 of the way down, and fringe as small as possible.
Like almost each grain of the paper. Try to get it right in there. This is sort of fun. This is where you can learn dexterity, you know, hand-eye coordination for grown-ups.
Yeah.
Is cutting these little guys. Yeah, this is a great idea. So rather than cutting each little teeny bit, you're cutting the whole strip and then you'll cut down a bit. That makes a lot of sense. Especially when you're making how many of these?
I think I said 70 on the template. Feel free to make as many as you like. If that's too many for you, you'll just have a less dense flower in the end.
So Anna, read out where are you guys from? Text over there in the comment where you're from, and Anna can call it out while we're cutting these little bits.
Yes, we have Rebecca joining us from Austin, Texas.
Yay!
Janet watching from Seattle.
Is it her first time, she said?
No.
Oh, okay.
I know. We know Janet.
Oh, we know Janet, right?
Yes,
that's right.
We
There's more than one
have
Janet in the world.
Shreveport, Louisiana, Sydney, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Southwest Michigan. So
fun.
Inga watching from Portland.
Hello, Inga.
Yeah.
Hi.
We have a few people that are super excited about the DM colors. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, those are. Yeah. We're excited to talk.
Yeah,
about
we did
them.
some testing on them, so we're going to show you what we figured out. Okay, keep going.
So after you fringed your piece, it's all tiny. Sorry that we're not like.
And make sure
super close.
Make sure that you show them. I'm going to stand up.
You're good.
So when you fringe, it's going to look like. I mean, you're not going to open it up, but if you were to open it up, it would look. I'll just stand up. It would look something like that, but you're not going to open it up. So just so you know, you cut it on this side, not on that side.
Okay. And we did have a question. Did you stretch it before cutting?
No,
we did not. All right, and then you are going to cut your pieces, so the center pieces. So you're just going to take that piece that you fringed, and you're just going to cut your pieces off of it, and they're a little less than an inch wide. Use your template to know how large to cut them.
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, it does not have to be perfect by any means.
I misplaced my template.
Oh, it's because I took it.
Oh, okay.
And we have a few international members joining us. We have Virginia from New Zealand and Christina from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, and next you're gonna take your, your 24 gauge wire, and that's what you're gonna use for each one of the little itty bitty flowers.
Okay.
And you're just going to cut probably about 1.5 inches lengths for each flower to go on.
I'm going to pull one of these out
Yeah.
to kind of show them. So each flower has its own stem, and each flower has its own little yellow center. Yeah.
All right. So I'll give some of these to you to use.
Thank you.
We also have a few questions about what colors. So I spot vanilla, lemon, lilac, and cypress.
Correct. Yeah.
And you can use whatever, colors you want to. We colored them with the spray paint.
I colored
Megan.
them with
Megan colored them.
Yeah.
But, if you don't have the lavender, you can probably spray a lavender. Where we use lavender.
Could.
Yeah. And also Megan sprayed Megan sprayed these before we got our big huge stash of the paint. I think we got pretty much every single color.
Yeah,
so we could
I think we
test it.
got every single color.
Yeah, so we could test them, and so we used what we had on hand. And I know there were a few colors we were excited that we didn't try. Like we didn't try this one. That one would have been fun.
No, we did this one.
We did this one. Oh,
I
okay.
sprayed that on the white.
She's gonna just tell me. We also used this one.
Yes.
So.
All right. So then you're gonna take your center bits and use your tacky glue, and you're just gonna wrap it around the tip of each of your little wires that you just cut.
And you don't want too much glue because it gets really mushy.
It does.
As I'm finding.
Yeah. But that's okay. You can always just kind of.
Yeah, kind of roll
There
it.
you go.
You can use
just
hot
roll
glue, but
roll it between your fingers.
Yeah, you could use hot glue; it just get bulky. So that's why this glue probably works better. So how many did you said you had 80 per stem?
I had 70 per
70.
stem.
Okay, but you could do more. You could do as many
Yep,
as
you could do more. You could do less. I think on the last flower I did, I ended up doing a little less because I was
ran out of time.
had already made so many. All right, and then let's see. For your petals, so if all of your petals are cut out, we're gonna stretch each side of the petal. So each petal is actually 2 petals when you cut it out, and you're just gonna use your fingers to stretch and just like gently cup them so that it then let's stand up and show you. Looks like that.
So maybe Megan, when you do these sort of very complicated, easy but complicated, because they're simple, they just take a long time, and you have so many petals. Do you kind of do one step at a time, like cut all your wires, cut all your, or wrap all your?
So I get everything ready before I even start assembling flowers. So I would make sure all my pieces are cut out first, make sure all my wires are cut.
And then do all these first, and then add the,
then I would do all the centers, and then I would cup all of the petals at the same time and just have stacks of flower pieces.
Enzo wants to craft
Enzo's
with
joining us.
If any of you are mothers, you understand this. You kind of learn how to do a lot of things with a child on your lap or with a fur baby on your lap.
All right, and after you've stretched your petals, you're going to take your center piece and you're just going to stab the wire through the center, right through the center of the petals, and it should push through really easy.
Because this is extra fine.
Yeah, and so it should look just like that. And then this was another step that I did as a step, is I actually put both petals on. So you're going to stab the second one before you even glue that first one. And so this is something where I would, since there's so many, I would do this step. And this would be a step, and then I would just set it down, and I would do all of them.
That way your glue's out once.
And so then when I go to glue, I'm only gluing everything one time, and then it's done.
And your fingers aren't gooey while you're
while
that's
you're
a good
messing
idea.
with everything else.
Okay.
All right, and so then you're going to take your glue, and you're just going to put a little glue right on your yellow stamen.
Okay. I'm going to grab
Just
a
on the
couple from your
base
bowl.
of it. Oh yeah. All right. And you're just gonna pull your flower up, and I actually want you to pull the crepe up and over the stamen so that the stamen is going through your petal.
It will
So
help it
that
hold better.
It'll help it hold better, so it's gonna look like that. So see how the stem is all the way through. Let's see. And then you're gonna fold it up, just fold it in half to glue it around that side bit.
I am getting glue everywhere. I would probably use like a toothpick. Like have some glue and a toothpick for this little teeny tiny.
Or you could use the tip of a wire.
Or tip of a wire. You
Alright.
really don't need a lot. And you have to be careful with extra fine crepe paper because it dissolves the paper really fast.
Alright, and so now you're going to take with that second petal, you're going to do the same thing and pull it up, and then you're going to fold it in half over just the opposite of the other two. Just
I'm going to use a wire.
hold it in place. Alright. And so all of your finished little flowers are going to end up looking like, let's see, like
There we
this.
go. Now make 800 more.
Yep, now make a bunch more. And so yeah, those are super simple. It's just you have to make so many of them. And so I've already pre-made a few of them so that you didn't have to sit here and watch us do the same thing over and over and over again.
It's a great thing to do when you want to sort of listen to a book.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Yeah. I always like double tasking, multitasking.
Yeah.
All right, so now how do you get that on the stem?
All right, so now we're going to take an 18 gauge wire.
Okay. That would be...
Needed a lot of different... You should have one sitting right next to you.
Oh, here's one right here. Oh, okay.
You'll have an 18 gauge wire. They come in such long lengths, you can go ahead and cut it in half because you're not going to need the whole thing. And then you are going to start taping your flowers on. Kind of explain as I do this.
Make sure if you guys can't hear, since we don't have the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you let us know if we need to speak louder, since we don't have
sure.
the speaker working today.
Yeah. All right. And so you're going to take one of your flowers and you're going to start at the tip of your wire. And you're just going to go ahead and use floral tape to attach that.
Would you go all the way up over the top of your tip?
I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
The flowers that surround it will hide if you don't cover it. All right, and then you're just going to start taking flowers. You're going to leave your little tail of floral tape there so that you can continue wrapping. And you're just going to add another, and you're going to start kind of working your way down the wire.
I'm going to look at this close up.
Yeah, and adding a few more. And as you get further and further down the stem, you're going to actually want to let the flowers sit up a little bit higher.
So that you have some wire.
Yeah, so that you have more wire. Yeah, go ahead and show them close up. So you have more wire showing.
All right, let's show you close up here. We're going to get it in as tight as we can so you can see the inside there. You can see how there's wire. I can't tell where my finger is. There's wires that are coming off the stem. Does that make sense? Okay.
All right.
Is everything okay, Anna?
Yeah.
Yes, we got some comment wondering if Megan can hold things lower because she's going off the camera.
Oh, okay. Or maybe me too, but yeah, so you guys can see that.
All right, so you're going to have like it's going to be kind of bunched up looking, and you're just going to keep working your way down. And I'd say after you add maybe 10 flowers, you're going to start pulling them out so you can see the shape and so you can adjust as needed.
And it looks like it doesn't matter if they're on wires, you could shape it. Like you can have a point here and then get bigger. You could even pull these out further if you wanted to, and even put them on thicker if you want to. It's very flexible.
All right.
We do have a question. Should the
Yeah.
center and the petals be the same color?
The center.
So we did it in vanilla and white. So we used the vanilla for the center, which is a pale yellow.
And then we used linen for the petals, or for the other ones we used the lilac color for the petals.
And then we've had a lot of questions on where to purchase it in the UK. I did find it on Amazon, but it's sold out. So I did email the manufacturer to see if they have a stockist in the UK.
Okay. It is, okay. We'll put, if we find anything new, we'll put it in the comments, or we'll put it underneath in the comments if we can find who has it in stock. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm gonna pull these out, and I'm just gonna pull them straight out. And your very tip flowers, you're gonna leave kind of sticking straight up because you want that point. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, if I want, say I want one of these flowers a little bit higher, since they're on wires, you can totally just
slide it out
a little bit, and you can just adjust the shape as you're going down.
And these flowers are so tiny that even now I was kind of going through and readjusting petals if they get a little bit smashed, or that you want them to be shaped a bit. Go ahead and arrange them.
Go ahead and arrange them. And so you're going to leave all of your flowers at the tip closed.
Because that's
going to leave them
more
all
realistic.
closed. And then the ones towards the bottom, you're going to take and you're going to pull the petals out. I found it easy to do this just by taking my finger and pressing it into the middle of each flower I wanted to open.
That's a great technique.
I think the first flower I did, I was very careful and was pulling them all out, and it took me ages. And then I realized that you can totally just push your finger right into the middle and push them out so that they're a little more open.
Okay.
And then leave the tip ones closed. Then you'll just keep adding until it's as full as you like, all the way down.
And you can make them thicker or thinner, whatever you like.
And then when I was finished with the flower, I took an 18 gauge. The thick stem wire, and I actually attached it to keep the stem thick all the way down, because this gets so thick up at the top because you're adding all of those wires in, and that's why I started out with such a thinner wire. And so then you just go ahead and add your 18 gauge
paper cover
thick stem wire.
And we have the link for that. I like these
there.
because they're pointy at the bottom, and then they get thicker, so that's an easy easy way to add that.
It was easy. And then you can see that with these flowers we have this really pretty gradient on them. So it's kind of more pink at the top and then lighter at the bottom, and then this one's purple.
Just barely.
Barely. We just did it really light.
So we have a question. How many flowers are on that one stem?
70.
70.
Yep.
So let's do the leaves, and then we'll talk about the color.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about the spray.
Okay.
All right. So for the leaves, you're gonna cut out. I think I gave you a couple leaf pieces.
Do I have some under here? Okay.
Oh no, they're in your little white dish.
Oh, here they are. Oh,
You
look,
have
I have my own
pieces.
dish
Yeah,
over
you
here.
have your
I
own
think
dish.
we were all in this buzz of trying to get the
Getting our
camera working.
cameras to work.
Okay, here we are.
All right, so we gave you 2 different leaf sizes. So there's a bigger one and a little bit smaller one. So
And again, remember the grain to get the V cut.
Yep.
So that your lines of your grain go this direction and they make a V if you're pointing it upwards. I know sometimes we even make the mistake and we'll go the wrong direction. It's like, oops, looks kind of funny.
All right, you're gonna take your 24 gauge wire for the stems of these leaves.
So clarification, 70 flowers per stem. I thought we cut out 70 petals.
70.
So does one...
So on your template, let's clarify. It says 70 flowers per lilac. So that's per stem. And there's 2 on your template. If you look at your template here, there's going to be 2 petals. So that's a flower.
Mhm.
So this
So 70
makes
of
one
the
flower.
set. Mhm.
So 70 of this.
We'll make
one.
70 flowers.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this one's almost empty, so I'm going to use yours.
Okay, here you go.
Okay, so I'm doing my little trick of just sliding it in and getting some even coating of the glue for the leaf. Do you need your wire back?
Yeah, I dropped it. All right.
And for those of you who have not seen this technique before, I think most of you have, we like to put the wire from tip to base. Well, actually it comes off the bottom so you have a stem. And just glue the wire between, and then that will give you the ability to shape your leaf really easily, and it keeps the strength of your leaf, especially if you're using this lighter weight crepe paper.
Yep.
But there's another tip that you're going to show us for the leaves, and this is something I don't know where you got this idea, Megan, so I'm just going to say you made it up.
I don't even
I think she
remember
made
at
it
this
up.
point.
Yeah. She may have seen it somewhere, but Megan has mastered this technique, and it's called Mod Podge. But
so much fun.
if you guys can see that fiddle fiddle leaf fern.
Fiddle leaf fig.
Oh, I always say fig. There we go.
Fiddle
Fiddle
leaf
leaf
fig.
fig. That is crepe paper, and
Yep.
she used this technique. So, and it's
Yep.
huge.
All right.
I'm gonna prep your bottle for you. Looks like a brand
that
new
was the
bottle.
other one. I think that was my photo bottle. All of our other ones are like this big.
Oh yeah,
I want
this
to
is
bring
the
a
little one.
huge one. You can just stab it.
Oh.
Or stab your finger into it.
All right.
Alrighty. So you're gonna take your paintbrush and Mod Podge. And you really don't need too much. And you're gonna paint your leaf in the direction of the grain. You don't want to go against the grain, or you're gonna end up stretching out your crepe paper.
I remember doing this technique on, I can't remember which flower it was or which leaf it was, and I loved the way it ruffled up the crepe paper, and I was really hoping that's the look I would get, but it shrinks back up.
Yeah, so once you paint, here, I'll kind of hold up the paper with it.
Yeah,
once
so
you paint on one side, you can tell which side I painted on Mod Podge because it's all flimsy. It gets a little ruffly.
Yep.
Oh.
But it shrinks.
Yep, and then it'll flatten out once it dries again.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just want to make sure it's laid out flat while you're allowing it to dry. Some stuff to it. So I'm going to paint the other side real quick.
Somebody kindly told me they can't see your pretty face because the flowers
Oh.
are hiding it.
Uh-oh.
It's so funny because what I see might be different than what you guys
I know,
see.
I'm curious if...
Yeah. So fun technique, and again, it's the type of thing where you make all your leaves. You have a big piece of,
Like craft
paper laid out, and you just paint them all
at once.
And then you probably want to let that dry like a half an hour, maybe an hour.
It doesn't take very long to dry.
And then you'll flip it over and do the other side.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how she made these.
Yep. And so this is your stem of leaves for your lilac.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of all angles.
I love the way it's a little bit glossy too.
Yeah. And so you can choose. You can buy a matte Mod Podge, or you can get a really glossy one. I chose to use matte for this because the leaves of the lilac aren't super shiny.
Yeah, they're not.
And so once your leaf is dry, you're gonna take it and shape it, and we just kind of cut the back side of each leaf just to give it a little bit more shape. And then we just I added it to one of these thick stem wires and made it so that it could hang out of a vase. Just like that.
And I think green always makes
greenery always
flowers.
makes your display
look really beautiful.
Nicer.
Yeah. So a lot of fun. We are excited to see what you guys do with this project, and I have a suspicion that there's going to be some gorgeous ones coming out.
Yeah.
We loved what you guys did last week with your last month with the Lizzie-anthus. That was so much fun to watch. Remember to do member make. I know we keep changing it, but no, we're not changing it anymore. Member make. Yeah. We're keeping it easy. And we always do Free to Friday. So if you guys post, we might pick one of yours to feature. So let's talk about the fun stuff then.
Yeah, our spray. So how we got this really nice gradient on the flowers.
Now I'm trying to make sure I don't cover anybody's faces
We
here.
can start pulling it.
Okay.
With some more room. All right, so I'm gonna grab this guy because I feel like it's
While you're
very
getting ready, I
obvious.
have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many leaves per stem?
I was gonna say that.
yeah.
On this one, I did 5.
Mhm.
Right? Yes. So I did.
And are you keeping the leaf stems separate from the flowers?
Yes, I like keeping them separate because then it's easier to arrange.
It is easier to arrange. It's easier to
Um,
photograph
mhm.
too. And you can put them where you want them. Sometimes if you have your leaves on your stems but you have a vase that doesn't allow for it,
Yeah.
it just makes it much more flexible. You guys do what you feel is right though. Maybe you prefer them on your stems.
So we also have somebody wondering how long did it take you
to make
one?
these. To make one.
Yeah.
I'd say it took me like 4
4 hours.
The first one, it probably took me like 4 hours because I was trying to figure out what I was doing. And then the next one I made, it maybe took an hour
Okay.
after everything was cut out. Because
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. And
Yeah. And there's some kind of prototyping that's
Mhm.
involved when you're, working on making it the
Yeah.
easiest, most direct way to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, the first one always takes longer.
Yes.
So once everything is cut, about an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're hand cutting.
And you
I'm
guys
so
are gonna
sorry.
time yourself right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody did suggest to maybe listen to a book on tape or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great
I
idea.
love that. Listen to
That's
some
nice.
podcasts or books on tape. I love doing that.
All right.
We have a question if you used
Grab
both
these 2
sizes
colors.
of leaves on one stem.
I did, yeah. I like to mix it up. I put some of the smaller ones towards the tip, and the larger ones are towards the back. I just like the variety of it, so it's not so uniform. Alright, and so these are the 2 sprays we used for these flowers. We used the Tint It and Pinkalicious and Plum.
So this is the plum and this is the pinkalicious. So this is
Yep.
the white with plum and pinkalicious with lilac.
Lilac, yeah.
Mhm. Yes, our crepe is called lilac.
It is. And so this is just, it's a tint. It's like a
Mhm.
transparent spray paint.
So let's talk about where we learned about this.
Yeah.
So Megan and I were actually, and actually some of you guys, I know
Mhm.
Inga and Susan were both there as
yeah.
well. But we were up in Washington at a master class that was put on for people who want to become paper flower artists as a living.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful class. I think it ran 4 days. And they, the rep for Design Master actually was there, and she had a whole display of this. So we were able to take the spray paints outside and test them. And when we were there at the event, we tested. This is some of the testing that we did. I just wanted to see if I could use a couple different colors on the leaf itself. So maybe on the tip I have a little bit of one color, and then on the base another, and it's just so beautiful. So we immediately fell in love. We were testing these. We were making these. This is going to be a project that we post, but I think this may have been one of the originals where, I don't know if you guys can see it as well on the on this particular monitor, but it's more of a pink on the base, and then it's orange on the tip. And I can't remember which way we did. We may have had pink paper and
so like with this is one of the tulip petals.
Mhm.
And so this was our blush colored crepe, and we just sprayed it a darker pink at the bottom, and it's like a very nice ombre effect.
it's beautiful.
And it's so quick.
And we do it after
so
we make
fast.
well, you did it before you're putting them together. Because you want to not you want to make sure and get all your petals.
Yeah.
But when we were playing with them, we actually sprayed
Just sprayed the actual
the
flower.
actual flower.
Once it was made.
Yeah, here's the orange with a bit of this red. It may have been hot pink though, but when you spray it on, it turns more of a red. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to try and test. And the thing that we wanted to share with you guys is there are several different kinds of Design Master. So the ones that we gravitated to was this tinted because we like the packaging.
Yeah, we like that the colors were on the
lid.
lids, and so like the way we store it, we can see the colors and not have to pull them out. But
they don't have all the colors in this.
They don't have very many colors in this packaging, and it is exactly the same as the Just for Flowers.
So if you buy some, make sure you get this packaging or get the Just for Flowers to get that transparent look. So these are a tint. They
let the color of the crepe paper show through still.
Yeah, and it might like this flower where this was probably a hot pink and orange, but it turns red because you can still see the color. So it's that color mixing version, and it does not make the crepe paper wet, so it doesn't blow it out. Where this one, this is their color tool spray, and this is an opaque.
Yep.
So just know that they're a little bit different. So color spray and then Just for Flowers are the two different kinds. Then they also sent us some of their metallics that we tried out, and we'll show you some samples.
Yeah.
So Megan did all this.
And so I'm gonna have to remember which ones are which.
It's so much fun. Put a mask on though. You know.
Yeah, it's like spray paint. It's pretty gnarly smelling. This is so funny. I can't even tell. It does such a good job. I can't even tell which one is the color of the crepe and which one.
It truly does a good job.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with.
So I this one. Let me show them something while you're looking.
Yeah.
So this, it looks like it was this color pink, and then she sprayed a darker color. So one of the things you want to consider when you're using these tints is that when you stretch it, you will see the lines, and that could be a really cool effect.
Yeah.
So you could have that striping almost. If Inga or Susan have any
color.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
If Inga or Susan have anything thoughts to put in, type and we'll read them out.
So this crepe started out as this color. This is the honeysuckle. And this is heavy crepe. I always forget the colors.
Yeah.
And I sprayed poppy on the end of it, and I did an ombre effect.
It's so beautiful.
So it's so pretty. It's like DIY ombre crepe paper. It's amazing.
And you can control it, and you can, you don't have to have a whole roll of ombre, but you only want this color part of it. You can control
and it hasn't affected the crepe paper at all. It doesn't come off like the pan pastel would. You don't have as much control as the pan pastel, but
there's a place for both.
Yeah.
One's not replacing the other.
And so again, if you were to look at this and stretch it, it obviously, you can see it getting lighter, and you can see, if you're going to want to stretch your crepe paper, you might want to go over and spray it again after it's been stretched, so that you don't see the lines through, but then again, it also is kind of a cool effect. And
so that one was the actual flower dye. Okay.
Yep, this is the Just for Flowers, the transparent. And then for the more opaque one, so this is blush, or blush extra fine, and then it turned it more of a corally color with this coral spray, and so you can't see the blush through this at all.
It's very opaque.
Yeah, it's more of like, think of it more as a spray paint. It's just drier and lighter.
And then this one I thought was pretty cool too, and that was the metallic that and it's opaque.
That's
this one.
This guy. So it is.
And this was green, and then it's completely covered because it's an opaque. But again, when you stretch it, you might get a little bit of that striping.
Yep.
So that's pretty fun. And then do you have? Let's see, what was anything else?
So there's this one is the shimmer.
Oh yes, I actually really liked this one.
That was on those leaves.
Yes, I actually really liked this one. Do you want to? Yeah, go ahead, show them.
So I did it on a darker green just because I knew we had some leaves that had it on it as well. And you can just see at the end there that it's just a little bit of a gold shimmer.
Yeah, so
it adds a little bit of sparkle, but it doesn't cover up the color at all.
Yeah, very little color. Yeah. You know how much we like our frosted. So, any comments or questions on these?
Yes, we have a question. Do you spray the crepe paper before you start cutting and forming the flower?
It totally depends on the flower.
You could do either way.
So let's talk about the lilacs real quick and how we sprayed those. For the lilacs, we obviously sprayed it after we made the flower, and I took the spray and I hold it about an arm's length away because you don't want it to be super saturated. I just wanted it on the very tips of these flowers. So I actually held the flower facing me and then took the spray and sprayed it just like this, right towards the tip. And if I wanted a little more color on one side, I would turn it sideways and only spray it on the tip. And just go really slow and be really light-handed. Because you can't go back.
Where this one, you made the petals before you sprayed it. Because it's a V cut and it would be really difficult to get the exact color.
That gradient.
On the paper before you made the petal. But I could definitely see taking a sheet and pre-spraying and then cutting out the petals as well. To, you know, like
just
maybe
totally depends on
maybe a peony. See, I'm trying to say it right. Peony. Maybe a peony could have a pre-spray because you really
maybe do one color on one side and have it be that other color on the other side.
Yes, good question.
That was a great question. I have some good news. I heard back from the manufacturer, and we're going to post a link to a reseller in the UK.
Okay, we have a reseller in the UK who is in stock. Yay! That's kind of good though. That means that they're out of stock. That it's selling well.
Well, so because of different labeling requirements in the UK, they're called Oasis Spray Color.
Okay. Yep. All right. Any other questions about this spray or even the project that we're working on this month? Just make one up, Anna. I'm kidding.
We did have a question that you did already answer. Are you moving away from pan pastels?
No, we're not moving away from pan pastel. We love pan pastels, but I think this just gave. Imagine trying to do this with pan pastel.
Oh my goodness.
It would be a nightmare. Yeah.
So
So I think it's a combination of the two. There'll be just like, you know, having 3 different types of crepe paper. It depends on the flower and what effect you're looking for. Same with the colorants. Yeah.
It's really fun.
And then we have a question. Do we sell these in our shop?
We are actually looking at doing that. Yeah, we would love to have like a private label.
Soon,
I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're hoping to get some of these, especially the ones that we end up using the most in our shop. Yeah.
All right. And then we have a request for next month.
Oh, yay, yes.
A blue bonnet.
Blue bonnets?
Okay.
Another
Well, that's where we're
tiny
going to need
flower.
that blue spray.
Oh, yeah, there's a
We
blue
don't really
spray.
have any blue crepe paper, but I think it's more of a lavender, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
But that is such a great idea because we do get requests for crepe paper colors that we don't currently
that we don't
have.
have.
And this is a great way to change a color of crepe. And to do that, I would definitely be using this more opaque spray.
Right. Or you could.
Or you can tint it.
Yeah, you can tint it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, this morning I did a shout out to Megan. I'm like, hey, spray some samples for us so we can show them.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun to just go and try and see what
how they turn out.
Yeah, this is a great place to use your scraps. You could even do like a little, you know, board of this color with this, you know. You could have like your color swatch. To remember. All right. Anybody else have some requests for next month? I know June is rose is the flower, but we've already done rose, so we're probably not going to do that. Although we could do more of a garden rose or a cabbage rose or a wild rose. Yeah. Or a blue bonnet. We could do that too. So.
And then they just wanted to clarify. So you use the lilac paper with the Pinkalicious and the plum with the white.
Correct.
Any other color suggestions?
I mean,
this one.
The shimmer, you want to make them a little shiny.
The shimmer would look really pretty on those.
You could totally add some green to your leaves.
I think that would be cool to give some variation to the leaves. How many green colors did they have?
They have the fresh green, and then I believe they have another shade of green in the tinted line.
Right.
But it's
darker.
it's really similar.
Oh, okay.
To this.
You know, now that I say that.
I don't think we got all the greens.
We didn't. So, like in their opaques, they have quite a few, which I think would be nice because I always feel like sometimes greens need that variation to make them look more realistic. Yeah, we have the little brochures here, but I don't know. As far as like color suggestions, what lilacs are kind of white and lavender.
You could use more of a pink in the tips of the white. Like the pink lustrous would look great on the white as well. There are a couple different shades of pinks. There's some more like corally ones.
You could even do just white with this to give it a little yellow tone, which is very realistic for a lilac, to have that sort of off-white, white and off-white combo. That would be really pretty.
We do have a question again about the SVG file. It still has the small square for the center. Should it look like that? Do you have a pattern?
The SVG file?
Yes.
I have one that's kind of cut out.
Small square for the center. Should
And a
it
leaf
look like that?
So the SVG, it's cut out. The SVG should just be, up here, should just be the square. It's just the square. There's no fringe.
Right, but what you could do, easy enough, if you wanted a long strip, that's their point. Because
if you want a long strip, I can go ahead and add that in.
We can add it in. And you can
If
also
that
just
makes it
make
easier.
a square. You can make one. You could use it as a pattern in your tool, in your design space. You can make a longer square if you wanted to. Or it's not a square. It would be a rectangle.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I hope that we have some cameras working next month. We will.
Yeah.
This was a surprise. We've all been so busy editing and doing other things, not using the cameras, that we were all just a little surprised this morning when nothing was working. But thank goodness for the laptop.
Yep, it worked out.
So it worked out. We look forward to seeing what you guys make. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to sit down and make it myself.
It's a fun flower.
Yeah, this will be my weekend project. And again, keep throwing out ideas of more flowers that you want to make. I know we've had some requests for people saying, why do you always make flowers? Can you do something else? We would be open to doing that maybe in addition. I feel like this crepe paper flower, we should do at least one a month. Yeah. But I would be open if we were to do a second member make that was a different material, like a felt project or I don't know, something like that. So if you guys want that, let us know, because we love this.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is. So, and Megan does such a good job, so give her a big hand. Yay, Megan! So, all right, we'll see you guys next month.
Yeah,
and
see you later.
Have a good rest of May.